Hi, it's Kate again, and your teacher asked me to talk to you today about extracurricular activities, which are activities that students do outside of school, and how American teenagers spend their free time. So, in the last video, I told you that many Americans have school until 2:30 or 3 p.m. every day, but that doesn't mean that they get to leave at 3 p.m. because they often have some sort of after-school activity. As you probably expect, sports are very, very popular for American teenagers. Football is one of the most popular sports for boys, but also basketball, lacrosse, and baseball. A lot of girls participate in softball or volleyball, as well as running sports. Running sports are so popular in the United States. In the fall, there's something called cross country, which is a 5-kilometer running race. That's the only event that takes place in cross country. And then in the spring, they have track and field. That's Leichtathletik, I think it's called in German. Another thing that many Americans do that's actually a co-ed sport is ultimate frisbee, and that's becoming more and more popular in the United States. If they're not participating in sports, there are also clubs that many Americans participate in at school. Drama club, many schools put on some sort of theatrical play. There's also art and photography clubs or writing clubs. And then we also had something called Model UN at my school. Model UN was like a mini United Nations. So every school in my city, I think, was assigned one country, and then we would have a conference where we pretended to be the United Nations and we had to solve some sort of issue. On the weekends, many Americans hang out with their friends. Some Americans also do sports outside of school. So sports like horseback riding, ice skating, ice hockey, these are all sports that for whatever reason are not typically associated with school. So you might do a regular school sport during the week, and then on the weekend you're focused on your out-of-school sport. Another thing that many Americans do is they might have music lessons, so maybe they'll play in band as an after-school activity, and then on the weekends they'll have private music lessons. As you probably expect, many Americans drive a lot earlier than Austrian teenagers. In my state, I was allowed to start driving at 16, and then I could get my license at 16 and a half. So as soon as my friends got their licenses, we spent a lot of time outside of the house. Sometimes we would just go to the shopping mall and hang out without our parents. Even though we weren't buying anything, just walking around, getting Starbucks, and being outside of our parents' control was really fun for us. Another thing that many American teenagers do, which might sound weird to you, is something called youth group. So youth group is sponsored by a church. It's typically for teenagers between the ages of 14 and 18, as long as you're still in high school. And that typically meets on Sunday nights. Sometimes you'll have dinner with your youth group, or sometimes you come after dinner and you just come to chill, chat, hang out. I honestly thought it was really fun. I don't consider myself to be religious, but youth group wasn't really about religion. It was just about hanging out with people who had similar mindsets in sort of a structured fashion. If you're not in youth group, a lot of times people spend Sunday nights just hanging out with their families. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on what Americans like to do in their free time.